All right. Well, we are back together, back from Chicago, and we're super excited to share some takeaways, some main takeaways from our trip to Chicago. The Business Leadership Conference with Dr. Bill Winston was absolutely amazing. So we'll dive in this morning and just share some of those key takeaways from the conference and just some insights into what other people are seeing, people that aren't in crypto, how their perspective is on crypto, and then where things are headed within the space. So let's dive right into some of the key takeaways from this past weekend.
Yes. Well, I'm excited to talk about this because we truly had a great week. We went out there to Chicago, and we were truly like, okay, is this going to be, it's going to be snowy, it's going to be cold. We have to set up our whole booth. We just wanted to be on it. We wanted to bring value to people, but it ended up being so beautiful, so sunny. We did have one cold day at the very end, but we had a great time. And we have a little fun story to share with you guys at the end because it's a big testimony, I guess I'll say. It's pretty fun. Of what happened to us when we first got there. But we'll save that to the end and make it a little fun. But yes, we had a great time at this conference. And I think really going into this, we wanted to just be able to share this window of opportunity in the crypto space, in these investments with these individuals that are building wealth, they're building businesses, they're adding value to people, they're putting their value in these businesses and trying to get it out to individuals, just like we are, but they're wanting to take their capital and put it somewhere. A lot of people are wanting to do that right now. But I think the main thing in this time period is that we're experiencing a lot of different things in our economy. We're experiencing potential war about to arise. We were flying out in what was kind of a government shutdown, right? And thank God our flight was fine. But at the same time, as people are wanting to put their capital somewhere, they're also scared and they want to hold their cash because they don't know what's going on. So we wanted to bring clarity to that, which was really awesome, and show that this is actually a window of opportunity within the crypto space. There are major things happening that is actually making these assets become undervalued. And currently they're undervalued right now, while major events are happening in the crypto realm, like MasterCard. Their MasterCard just made the biggest deal in crypto history. They acquired a $1.8 billion company, a stablecoin company. And this is all happening in the downturn of the market. Along with that, the NASDAQ, they just got approved by the SEC to bring stocks onto the blockchain and actually tokenize their stocks. And this is all happening while we're seeing some of the lowest prices in crypto history, right? When it comes to bear and bull markets and the percentages.
And not
And
even to mention the fear and greed index is at some of our all-time lows
mhm.
that we're seeing. I mean, yesterday it's at 11. So truly, we really are seeing these assets be undervalued, and the retail market is definitely more fearful than uh, what actually meets the eye of the underlying infrastructure that is being put into place.
Exactly. And that's what we were talking about before we went to the conference is okay, we're early investors into this market. Our whole thing is become an early investor in innovative technology. And what we were talking about is that we've been in crypto for 7 years, and that's why we're early investors, but we're still investing today. So we're continually being early investors, and it's not too late to invest. And what I'll really say is after those 7 years that we've been invested, this is one of the greatest windows of opportunity that we've gotten. We were in a bear market for a while, about 3 years of us being invested, staying down at low prices, accumulating, and then we hit a good bull run. Now that the market is back down, we are taking action. We're developing strategy. And that's what we really wanted to share with people because as you've been in the market, you start to realize what is an opportunity? When should I buy? And when should I maybe wait a little bit and actually take some profits as well? And so typically, when the markets are low, when there's a lot of fear, like you were saying, Ken, when the market has a lot of fear in and the fear and greed index is super low, sentiment is low. All the retail investors don't want to buy. They're scared. They don't know if this is a good market to get into, but that is when we should be buying. And me and you know that. And obviously, this is never financial advice. It's just us doing what we do. And truly, that's when the wealthy buy. They don't make their wealth when they sell, they make their wealth when they buy because they position themselves early when others are flooding out of the market. And so I think this is just a perfect circle, honestly, because we have a lot of fear, we have low prices, we have major companies and institutions making huge moves in the crypto space. And then we have uncertainty. That actually creates the perfect picture. It's ironic, but it creates the perfect buying picture. And that's why we're developing strategy right now to help individuals and to get in ourselves. We're following our own strategy. And so I really want to, why don't you touch on some of the questions when we went to this conference, which was amazing. And with all of that backing it, all of what I just said, because that's what we went into the conference with. Why don't you touch on a few things, common questions that people were asking us when they were coming up to us and asking us about crypto?
Yeah, I can touch on some of those. I just want to also say I think that we truly enjoyed this conference. It was our first conference that we actually held a booth at. We've
Mm-hmm.
spoke at a few other events here and there, but we've never directly just held a specific booth where people can come up and talk with us. And we are definitely people persons, in person people,
Yes.
whatever that means. But we love,
In person.
yeah, we love the connections of meeting people face to face, especially
Mhm.
within the crypto market and digital assets because people, it's intimidating. But when you can physically meet somebody in person and get
Mhm.
to touch them and say, oh, you're real, it's not just somebody behind the scenes saying, oh, invest in this, invest in that. I
Mhm.
think it gives a huge advantage to people feeling more comfortable being able to ask their questions and even share some of the things that they've been through within the space.
Mhm.
So we definitely look forward to doing more of these, holding booths, going
Oh yeah.
to other conferences and meeting people in person. I think that this is huge. So if anyone is out
Yeah.
there that's wanting us to come and be in person at any certain event, I would love to have a conversation in that regard. I think these are impactful moments. And like you said, we're in prime time in
Mhm.
2026 with where retail is, but then also where the infrastructure is really being laid. So
Yes, you're
that's
so right on that. And I think that one of the things I want to say when we were in person, I mean, we love it. You and me love this. We thrive off of it because we get to help people. We get to have actual conversations with people, not just this is what you should invest in, but okay, what are your life goals? Where do you want to go? Do you want to be in this market? It's not made for everyone. And so we get to help them and hear them out. And one of my favorite things when we were holding the booth is that people were walking by different booths and there was like, give me some examples of the different booths. Well, there was a tallow. This woman had a tallow business, but this is like a wealth building business summit essentially. But there were some different booths there, and then other people.
photography and chiropractic.
And then IRAs, like that kind of stuff as well.
Mhm.
Like, so there were all different types of booths and a lot on finances. But when people walked by our booth, they were typically like, Like, they were like, what? Crypto? And then they saw two women standing at the table and were smiling. And I think it's just, it's almost like, wait, what is going on? And so I just thought that was a funny thing because then people would come up and be like, okay, why are you guys, is this crypto? Like, what is this? And I think that was just a perfect conversation starter because people are interested. They just don't know that normal individuals like you and me can be in this and be successful. They either think it's way too risky, they think that there's scams, or they think that people just get lucky, right? Oh, someone got lucky, or they think you have to be a crypto geek to do this, which is just not true. You and me are normal. We're just normal individuals that want more for our future, want more for our life. And we've studied this and we've been able to be entrenched in it. And we're just wanting people to leverage our knowledge so that they can get into it as well.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. Okay, I think that's great. And so let's just dive into some of these questions that people came up to us with because we had some people say, "Oh, I don't mess with that." Or we had people that were interested and very interested and they're like, "I need to learn more about this."
Mm-hmm.
But I would say some of the top questions that we did end up getting were, how much do I need to start with? Because
Mm-hmm.
people thought, oh, I need to start with a lot of money or whatever that looks like. But majority of people don't actually realize you can start with $10 if that's what you wanted to start with, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And we've had people that have invested $500 all the way to over millions of dollars, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that that gap and that range is very drastic, but it's also something so powerful in this asset class that
Mm-hmm.
people haven't had the chance to do yet is just invest a small portion into something like this.
Exactly.
Tremendous difference.
And I think really starting with a small portion is so different than actually having a plan and your goals of where you want to be because I'm not going to say $10 is going to make you a millionaire if you invest in this. But what do we all need to do to actually get into something? We need to take a step. And that $10 is a step. That $10 is okay, I opened up an account. Okay, I did this correctly. Okay, I'm dipping my toe in. It's not too risky. It's $10. You can buy a coffee with that nowadays with inflation. Um, Sometimes my matcha at Starbucks is like $10. I'm like, okay, not doing this again. But when you start with that much, it really gets you and your heart, your mind, everything thinking to the direction of, okay, I can maybe do a little bit more. Okay. And then once you commit a little bit more, then you start to say, oh, I want to learn more. It actually puts you and forces you to be in that avenue of your learning. What most people do is they have all of these questions, like Kinley was saying, how much do I start with? Is it too risky? What other things were you saying? We had some things down here, like how much capital do I start with? What is crypto? All those things. But then they let that hold them back from not investing, but getting education. They
And
actually let,
something And something I really saw in that time period was we're breaking down even a 5 minute conversation, 1 minute conversation in with these people. I can see the limiting beliefs start to break off of these people to
yes.
start understand, oh, that's the answer to my question. And then once you get that answer and there's
Hmm.
education and knowledge behind it, you can start taking those action steps because you understand and you have wisdom to move forward.
Exactly. And you feel empowered. Like I saw people finally feel empowered. Like it was almost they were watching so much YouTube that they felt that they could never do this or, hearing things about crypto that they knew. I mean, pretty much almost everyone that came to us didn't ask, is this going to be the future? Like, we got a couple of those questions, but a lot of people came to us saying, I know this is going to be the future, but this is risky. I don't know if I can be successful. It was more like the confidence in themselves, I would say, and in their education and their knowledge. And so when you equip them with that and you say, no, there's a proven method, you can do this. Average people get into this, right? Then they start to realize, okay, let me just learn that. Let me learn the steps. I don't need to become a crypto geek and do this for full time, but I can get into this as well, which I love. And go
Exactly.
and going back to the just the $5 amount, $10 amount, differentiating that from your goal. I think this was a huge question we got. How much do I need to start with? And we always say you can start with $10 as you're starting to educate yourself. But when you start to be like, I actually want to get in to this, like I want to be an early investor, I want to see results from my investments, you're going to need to start with probably at least 5K, I would really say. And that's what we say is to see results, because if you 100x $10, that's what, 1,000? So that's not, and 100x is big. So, but if you can leverage more capital, and that's what we say, like 5,000 is probably, let's do that. Let's make that the goal to get in at first. If you're wondering, like you can't do too much, we say 5,000 is a good starting point. But that doesn't mean you come into the market and you just put that all in. That's your goal. So you gain education in order to hit that.
And the more
Um,
you believe in the assets, the easier it
mhm,
is to start allocating capital towards the confidence level that you have within the digital asset space.
mhm,
Because honestly, it really is an innovative asset. It's nothing less than Amazon was back in 2000s. And
mhm.
so we saw Amazon and it's super, super volatile during that time period. Now it's leveled out, but the people that
Yeah.
invested early in Amazon are now millionaires. And this is
Mhm.
something of how we ended up sharing with people, what is crypto? Because that was a question too. It's just
Yeah.
like, what even is it? It's a currency. It's going to replace the dollar. And no, it's not going to replace the dollar, but it can be used as, let's just say, a world bridge currency, which means they're transacting between different currencies using crypto and blockchain technology. And so what it's doing is actually updating the financial system. And
Mhm.
so when we look at our financial system and we see, wow, this system has been outdated for 50 plus years, we're now taking crypto and blockchain technology and it's updating it. So it's an innovative asset that we're able to
Mhm.
invest in. And people that invest in innovative assets are going to make tremendous upside in in
Mhm.
the long run. And now
Who are early investors as well. Yeah.
one of the things that even Charles Payne talked about during that conference, he shared how the hardest thing within innovative assets is that your ability to hold and
Mhm.
have a sound mind to be able to understand, okay, know what you hold and know that it's not just going to be a breeze and you're making a lot of money, but there can be a lot of volatility. But that is the thing about opportunity. There's going to be risk with any opportunity that you face. And so for those people that we were able to share some of this with, I saw a light bulb go off when we said, no, now is the time to invest. Because another question that we got was honestly, like, is now a good time to buy? Because like they're seeing the markets, they're seeing the red in the charts, they're seeing that it took a big dip. And we're like, there couldn't be a better time to buy. And obviously, again, we say this is not financial advice, but when you look at markets as a whole, year over year over year, you get to
Yeah.
see the opportunity, and those opportunities are really in the dips.
It
So,
really is. And I think as they were asking these questions as well, a lot of individuals were just, they were trying to figure out their situation and if they could be successful in this. And one of the biggest things is that we actually got probably 5 people that came up to us telling us that they lost 10K, 20K, even upwards of over that they lost this in the crypto market. And so then they're like, I know this is a future, but I just don't want to get back in. And this is one thing we are super passionate about because this is so avoidable, so avoidable. And we're going to tell you the common denominator that happened with all those people. And we asked them, okay, what happened with your situation? How did you lose that capital? Every single one of them lost it because they gave their capital to a specific platform, to someone to make them money for them. And this is completely different than a legitimate fund where you actually sign docs, you sign contracts, you talk to the people, right? This is someone, let's say on X or WhatsApp or something like that, that says, hey, look, use this platform. I can do it for you so you don't have to do it, but use this platform and I'm going to help you do this. Then they
And
give
you
you
can
access.
see it. You can see it. You can see the platform. It looks like it's your money. People are like, wow, I'm making money. So I'm going to put more money in.
Mm-hmm.
And they're able to see their whole entire platform like it is theirs, but it's
Yep,
not. And so that's, go ahead, Kaylin. You can continue.
exactly. But it's not. This is the common denominator in each one that we saw. And it's not their capital. And so then when they go to request to take it out, they get ghosted. And the only reason those people are still having connection with you is because they want you to put in more money, more
Mhm.
capital. One thing we do here at DAS, we never touch your capital, ever. We never touch it. We empower you to control it and to have it in your possession. And we show you the platforms, the centralized platforms and the decentralized platforms that you can actually safely buy on and transact on and then go and store it in your own possession. That's
Mhm.
so much different than going and putting it into someone else's platform and giving them control of your keys, of your access, of your assets. And so I think this is something we're very passionate about because it can keep people out. People just are like, well, I just lost hope. And then they miss out and they see other people succeeding in the market. And so, as much as it's important to know what to invest in, when to invest, it's important to know how to do it properly and the safety and security behind it. And so not only do we help people and we were sharing with them, okay, this is really what we're invested in. This is the opportunity of this time period, but also we're very much emphasizing, look, you if you want to do this, gain that education so that you can lay your foundation correct now. That's all safety and security is laying your foundation correct now so you don't mess up in the future. You don't look back and say, well, I was in the right asset, but I lost it all. Or I was in the right asset, but I gave it to someone that wasn't trustworthy.
Yeah. And I would say too that it's very important to not allow one bad apple to ruin the whole entire basket
Mm-hmm.
because it truly is some of these people that have lost money in crypto, they're the ones that are not wanting to partake in it anymore. And it's totally valid. It's a totally
Mm-hmm.
valid perspective to have. But I would really encourage you if you're out there and this is you and you can resonate with what these people have done. We've had people come to us that have lost over $1 million with something like Kaylin just shared.
Mm-hmm.
That is drastic and it sours and it ruins the whole bunch. Like you don't even
Mm-hmm.
want to touch crypto anymore. But I
Right.
would really encourage you to educate yourself, become educated with where the crypto space is actually going so that just because one avenue didn't work out for you doesn't mean you don't ever invest again. It's kind of like the stock
Exactly.
market. Just because one company failed, does that mean that Amazon, Apple,
Google.
Tesla, yeah, all these new innovative companies, let's say that are coming out, are going to be bad? No, it doesn't mean that. And I think that's where you can actually position yourself and use maybe what the enemy meant for evil and turn it for good. It's like, no, let's not allow this thing to stand in the way between me and my future success.
Exactly.
So,
And then it's actually perfect. It's perfect that like you've had that experience of something bad happen because now you'll never do that again. But that doesn't mean you'll never enter the crypto market again. You'll just be redirected into the right avenue. And there
Hmm.
is a proven method. There is ways people are successfully getting into this. And I think
I
that's
would,
what we have to realize is there's that opportunity still.
there is. And like you said, some people asked us even, okay, so what is the main things that you guys touch on? And I would say that what differentiates us is truly security,
Mm-hmm.
understanding safety and security, understanding just the bare, like the basics of being able to set up your laptop in a secure way, emails in a secure way. And then from there, and reaching that security level behind the scenes before you invest, to then going into exit and entry points. So it's how do I exit and enter and exit the market in a secure way. There's not one size fits all, but there's multiple, and we share with how do I diversify this to make it a secure way for me.
And simplify it. Like it's pretty simple. That's why we call it the foundation. It's once you lay that foundation, you're set. You're good. You're not day trading. You're not constantly at your computer. You have that foundation laid, and then you have that 90% of the security built in already. And then it's just, not having user error to where you're just making some silly decision, right? I mean, this can be done in anything, business, real estate, anything. But with this class, asset class, I would say it's even easier to be secure in it because you just have to lay the foundation first, and then it's pretty passive. And then you just have to be somewhat aware as you go through the market as well.
Exactly. And just to finish the 3 points that I have here is security, entry and exit points, and then custody. And when you, like you said, once you lay that foundation, it's pretty straightforward. And then, like Charles Payne said, it's just knowing what to hold, and you have
Yes.
to be secure. And where that secure comes from is your mind. It's your mindset, and how do you position your mindset to know and be confident that these innovative assets are going to be the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when Charles Payne actually came up to our booth and talked to us. He was a guest speaker there, and someone directed him to our booth and said, "Hey, they're in crypto. You need to go talk to them." And so he came and talked with us, and he was very like, "Oh wow, like you guys are actually touching on safety and security. You're not just touching on 100x gains, this and that." And then he was surprised that we were touching on, you know, not only when you get invested into these assets early on and become an early innovative investor, do you get that appreciation? You are also grandfathered in to utility and passive income. And I think that light bulb even went off in his head of like, wow, like, yes, there's so much more potential to these assets. And so I think that was just really reaffirming for us as well that he was on the same page in that. And then even just surprised the sector that we were in crypto and very much like, wow, that's awesome. So
I
pretty
think
cool.
I like his perspective a lot.
Hmm.
We honestly didn't know who he was at first. And so we were like, oh, okay. And then realizing who he was, we were like, wow, we need to start listening to this man because
Hmm.
he's very wise, and his generational wealth, long-term investing mindset is something we 100% agree with. And so we're excited to just
Yeah.
listen to more
And
of his.
one thing, sorry to cut you off, but one thing his team was saying was to us was that, yeah, Charles Payne was saying exactly what you guys were talking about, that this is the time the wealthy buy. This is the time to buy when most people aren't. This is the time to learn and educate yourself when most people aren't.
Mhm.
And I would just say the overall theme and amazing thing that happened at this event was that as people were coming up to us, no matter the question they asked, they just wanted to build confidence that they could do it themselves, that they could be successful in this market just like we were. And so being able to bridge that gap is something we really enjoy. And I enjoyed it this weekend because seeing the confidence and the hope and the excitement come back into people. Okay, I'm coming to your masterclass. Okay, yes, let's set up a meeting. Okay, show me how to do this. Okay, all right, I'm ready. Let's jump in. But not in a overly excited way of like, let me get a 100x, but let me learn. That's what people wanted was, okay, I feel like I could actually learn this. I feel like I can actually move forward and change my future as
Yeah.
well. Because these are life-changing investments. I mean, they've changed our life. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be sitting here without these investments. Neither would you. And many people like that we've helped. And so it's just awesome when people start to see that this opportunity is meant for them as well.
Exactly. I love
And
it.
yeah,
This is so good.
and I know that we're almost up here on time and everything, but we promised you guys a story. So, do you want to start off with that, Ken? And we'll do like 1 minute. Let's make it 1 minute. But this story is amazing, and we need to tell you guys it because it was such a reminder and actually a perfect way to start our trip to Chicago.
Yeah. I mean, we can kind of start here. I don't know if I can make it 1 minute unless you want me to talk at rabbit
Well, we'll
speed.
both run back and forth with it.
And I
How
know
we
you, yeah, yeah. And I know that we've told this story so many times already because it's just a big testimony, like we said. And honestly, I'll say this, God is so faithful and he knows, what we're going
Yes.
through. And we just need to call on him. So we get to Chicago, we get to our Airbnb. I have booked everything because for those of you that don't know me, I'm the operations behind the scenes girly that runs this ship. um, and with the help of Kaylin, of course. But
Well, I just say okay. I say, let's go here. And then she puts it all together.
exactly. Yes. So anyway, we get to the Airbnb. It's a code on the door. So no key, just code on the door to enter. We go in. We're going to go back out and get our stuff out of the car, but we wanted to go check it out, make sure everything was good. So we get in the house and then we're like, all right, let's go back, get our bags out of the car. And there's two doors. I walk out of the first door and then I'm walking to the second door. And on the second door, it says,
And I close the door behind us and I'm
yep.
following you.
And on the second door, it says, beware door auto locks. And I'm like, oh, because I left my phone in the house. And so did Kaylin. And the code to the door is on my phone. And
And we didn't remember it right
neither one of
away.
us remembered the code. She entered it. I told her the code. She entered it. And then we got in, whatever, not thinking much that we need to remember the code for some reason. So
So we both turn around. I'm getting excited. So we both turn around and the door is closed behind me. And we go, so we go to run back and I go to grab it and it goes, and it locks. It locks. The door locks and we were like, oh my gosh. And I was like, do you have your phone? And she was like, no. Do you have yours? And I was like, no. We left them in the Airbnb. We didn't think the doors were going to lock on us. And so then we're like, oh my gosh, what do we do? So we were trying to figure it out. So we're like, okay, let's go around. We were honestly ready to break in the house, trying to figure out, okay, which windows are open. Like, I've never tried to break into a house before, but now my mind is getting there. But then we were like, this isn't possible. We two girls can't do this. And so then I'm standing there and someone's walking on the sidewalk and I just asked them like, hey, um, do you know the people here? Like, do you live around here? And he's like, yeah, I actually live a house down. Anyway, he let us use his phone. He didn't know the people, but he let us use his phone. We tried to call our mom to see if she could get an account.
Meanwhile, nobody knows the owner of the Airbnb or the
Yeah,
host of the Airbnb, so we're not able to somehow get in touch with
yeah.
her to get us back in.
Then our mom couldn't get into Kinley's account because it was sending a code to Kinley's phone, which she couldn't confirm. So we were like, okay, it was about 2 hours of this. And then we were just like, we hadn't eaten all day. We were like, let's go to Whole Foods and let's try to find someone's phone there and try to figure out what to do. At least we have our luggage. At least we have our banner for the table, but we don't
Except
have
we
a
had
phone.
no money. We had no money to buy anything, no credit cards on
Oh
us.
yeah, because that was
So
all in the place too. So, but what ended up happening is we were going to go to Whole Foods, and I told Kinley, I said, Kinley, ask God what the code was. Oh, before this, sorry. I was in there trying the code probably 40 times, and good thing it didn't like, maybe it would have been good if it set an alarm off, but like it didn't do any of that. And I was like really trying to remember it, and I just couldn't get it. And I asked Kinley, I said, ask God what the code is. Like ask him. And I think at first you were like, oh, like you did something, but then you were like, okay, let's just go try it, you know? So we go to the door, and this was after like 2, almost 3 hours of us out of the house. And she puts in a code, and then she's like, wait. And then she puts in the next code, and it unlocks. Like the door unlocks. And she literally asked God, what is the code? Like we calmed ourselves down and we got in. I'm not even joking. You can't make this up. And it's not just like, oh, ask God and then she remembered it. No, it's like we were a team. I was like, hey, do this. We were both like, okay, all other resorts aren't working. Let's tap into God. I wish we did that 2 hours earlier. But it was just such a revelation for us. Like we were rejoicing. We were like, it's crazy when that stuff happens. It's so simple, but it's like he wants us to rely on him. That's what we got. Ask God, ask the Holy Spirit, go to him, and for me,
something something for me, I will just say this. It's like you asked me to ask God, and I was like, huh. And I felt immediately after I felt immediately
that was funny. Okay.
no, but like you said that, and then I remember walking, and I was like, yeah. And I asked him, and I felt in my spirit, literally, I felt like the 3-6 in my spirit. And then I went to the thing, to the door, and I put in the first two, 3-6. And then I was like, it's this. And then the door unlocked. And where the heck did the 3-6 come from? It came from asking God. I'm telling you,
Yes.
nowhere in my mind would I have ever thought that, but I felt it like drop into my spirit. And I was like, yep, this is it. But it's also teamwork, because if you wouldn't have asked me, said, hey, trust in God, like ask him, that would never have happened. I'm
Yeah.
going to be honest. Like it just wouldn't have happened. We
We
would have
would have
been stranded.
we would have been probably at Whole Foods eating our chicken, and that we called dad to buy us and call the Whole Foods to let us get it. And then we would have called dad to book us a hotel probably. And it's like, then maybe we would have gotten in the next day. But it's just like, in a bigger picture, I felt like God was speaking to me. I will save you so much time. I will save you so much effort. I will save you so much trouble if you walk this life with me and you tap into me first. And it was just, it honestly set our whole weekend up to be amazing.
It,
You just be thankful for everything that God has given us, and to tap into him and say, what do you want us to share with these people, Lord? Why are we here? And anyway, that was way longer than a minute, but
it's worth it. And I will say, for me, what I learned through the process too was not freaking out, because usually for me, I will get so tense, like, oh, this just happened, and get so frustrated. But I stayed so calm,
you
and
did.
you can attest to that,
I'm
because
proud of you for
you
that.
know me.
Because usually, like, it's fine. Like, it'll be fine. We'll figure it out. And
But
she's,
I did not say one negative thing. I just
mm,
stayed so calm, collected, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna work out. Things are gonna work out. We're gonna figure it out. And we did. And
yes,
God is with us, and we're a team. And ask. Ask and you will receive. It says
yes,
it. It says it in his word. And so that's just a little testimony to what we
yes,
went through. I hope it encourages and inspires some of you.
yes.
And
And we had
yeah,
a great time this weekend. And I'm glad we were able to share all of this with you guys. Because if you're in the same boat as these individuals, it's probably a confidence factor. And confidence is gained through education and through application. And so we want to help you with that. We love to see people really gain control of their future, step into their God-given purpose, and be an early innovative investor. And then, of course, we're just always asking God along the way and relying on Him.
He's the foundation.
All right, we'll see you guys next time.